So with that, let's do a quick activity. You don't have to speak out. I'm just going to say a few sentences. I'm going to read out a few sentences with some blank space in that. And I want you to think in your mind, uh, what is the first kind of reaction that you get to fill that blank? And that will help you to understand, what some of those filters might be in your mind. And these are just, some fun little things. So the first sentence is, women drivers are dash. So please pay attention to what is the first word that might have come in your mind. You don't have to share it with anyone. Just think about the first word that may have come in your mind. And think about why that word came in. Is that because of things you have seen in the past, things you have felt in the past, things that you read about, or women drivers that you know about? Okay, so the next one, again, in your mind, fill in the blanks here. It's dash to do it this way. It's dash to do it this way. Think about the word that may have come in your mind. And the last one here, dash is something I can never do because dash. There are two words here. Dash is something I can never do because dash. So think about those two words that came here and think about, what kind of filters do you have? And think about, are there ways for you to adjust your filters so that the thoughts that you get, you have a good understanding of, you have a good understanding of the filters you have, and also understand the way your brain processes a few things. So talking about processing, it's an interesting thing. My wife and I would watch the same movie together. And at the end of every movie, we have a little thing about, we discuss the movie. And 95% of the time, she would have understood the movie slightly different than the way I would have understood it. She would have understood those dialogues. She would have understood the character of the person, even the ending in slightly different way than I did. And I always find it very interesting because we watched the movie together. We had the same amount of light. We had the same sound system. It's from the same TV, but her reaction would be very different than mine. Because I think my brain, my beliefs, my filter mechanism is different from hers. So think about that at work. The same memo, the same email, the same goal, the same objective. If it is not a shared understanding, what are the chances that the outcomes are going to be the ones that the organization is looking for? Or if you set some vision or put some guidelines for the team in a certain way, and different people in your team understood that in different manners or got totally different meanings out of it, then the outcomes would not be the same. So what can you do to make sure that not a whole lot is left to these filters so that they get misconstrued or miscommunicated? So here are some examples that we hear a lot of times. And it's up to us to get more clarity on these. And these are very practical, actual examples that I have seen. The first one is a dangerous one. And actually, that's the first step to not improving, because they say we always do it this way. So the operating word here is always, and I think it's important to question that. Um, and it totally depends on you, your style, your communication way of how you ask questions to understand this better. We've heard this before. Everything was on track. I've heard people say, oh, don't ask users, they're clueless. Really? You should ask the users, because they are the ones who are going to be using this system. And if they don't understand the system well enough, they're not going to use it, or they might be using it in the wrong way. It's important for you to understand how they use it. Jira sucks. Really? All of Jira sucks? According to who? What sucks? And then they might actually tell you, oh, the reporting feature, or um, it's a shame that I cannot create more predictive analysis, or the burn down chart feature is really bad. I wish I could do more computation to that without having to export to Excel. But no, not all of Jira sucks. I mean, it's the most popular ALM tool out there. So it's definitely doing a lot of good things. Maybe a couple of things need to be tweaked. So again, these are just examples. So think about it in your mind when these kind of statements are made in your own teams. What would you ask to bring more clarity? What can you do to understand this better?